Okay, hi, Liz. This is your first mountain bike exercise class, specially tailored for you and your crazy sport. The first thing I'll do is I'll show you the equipment I have here. I have a variety of things. I have a block, I have a small ball, and then I have some bigger balls. Now these balls are inflatable ones. They can go full size, or you can take some air out and then you can use them for different things. And I've got two of those, one for each hand, because I'm going to be balancing on them as if they are moving mountain bike handles. You could also use like a half foam roller, a mini half foam roller, but they would only go in one direction, and I just think it's so much better. You've got your 360 degrees possibilities, which is much more realistic towards your mountain biking, to really challenge yourself closer to what you're going to actually be doing. Alright, so we'll start with the warm-up. Just a quick warm-up. If you want, I'm just going to do upper body warm-up, but if you want to warm up your legs, you could do squats or marches, whatever you want, but I'm just going to show you some upper body stuff that we can do. So I'm taking a small ball first, and if you just take it in your hands, okay, and then what you can do is just roll it around in every direction you can possibly think of, okay, over your head, and you can twist and turn as much as you like, taking yourself right through to the point where you find things difficult. So where you find maybe your shoulders too tight, your elbows at its longest, you're bending your wrists, okay, and you might find that there's certain places that you find are tight that you didn't know were tight, okay. It's quite a handy way to just do some upper body stuff, because you're quite static when you're sat on the bike, so you really want to make sure that you're getting the muscles to work right through their range, especially wrists, okay, especially you're sitting with that very, very static position on your bike, and you really want your wrists, especially with a long arm and a bent arm and different shoulder positions, to be able to bend, okay, or you're going to end up with tight things and tight problems into your wrists. Okay, so that's the first bit of the warm-up. The second bit of the warm-up is more of a global stretch. So we're going to go into what I call a mermaid sit. So you have, if you go from cross-legged, you leave one leg there and take the other one out like that. Alright, try as much as you can to get your two bum cheeks on the floor, or those two sitting bones on the floor, and then keep your upper body nice and still. Start with nice wide arms, and we're just going to do a twist. Okay, so try and keep your shoulders open when you're twisting, and make sure you keep the ribs down. Okay, don't flare through the ribs, keep the ribs down. So your tummy should be soft. Right, you should almost feel like there is rolls in your tummy. Right, it's not tense. Okay, so now from this nice wide twisted position, we're going to tip down towards the side that the leg is open. Okay, just lean down through that arm gently and just bring the top arm over. Alright, and again, try and keep your shoulders open. Don't curve over like that. We're bringing over like this, so you get a lovely C curve on the outside and on the inside of your waist there, and you might really feel the rib position as being quite tight. Okay, take a breath in. So when you breathe in, you want to really feel like you're opening up through the ribs, allowing those ribs to stretch, and as you breathe out, they come slowly back together again. Okay, and then you can tip and twist the other way. Arm right over, open through the shoulders, and breathe. Good. Okay, and just to be fair to both sides, we'll go the other way with the legs and do the same thing. Okay, so the side's likely to be a wee bit different from the other, but try and get yourself as straight as possible, but bum cheeks, aim for bum cheeks on the floor. Okay, so twisting again, ribs down, shoulders open. Think about your shoulders as being wide of your body. Alright, you almost want to pull with your elbows to make lots of space in those shoulders. Okay, and then we're going to tip down this way. Keep open through the shoulders and come over with the arm. Okay, try for the head to follow the direction of the spine. Okay, so it's not straining, it's just sitting on top of where the spine is going, and twisting the other way. Not twist, sorry, stretching the other way. Really reaching through those elbows to open up through the ribs. Brilliant. Okay. Now, after you've done your squats or whatever else you want to do, we're going to go into some tummy work, and I'm going to show you, we're going to go through going to go up the levels in the tummy work, and I'm going to show you what I want you to do. It's a whole lot easier to see it on yourself and to see it on me in this position than it is when we get onto hands and knees, which is what we're going to be doing later. Okay, so if you just start off, get your position set, so do your pelvic tilt forward and back. Okay, and you want to come to a rest where you have a neutral pelvis. So if you think about these pointed hip bones here and your pubic bone, if you were to lay your hands across your pelvis like that, you could almost imagine like if you had a tray, tray would be nice and flat. Okay, so you could sort of balance a ball in the middle of it and it would just stay in the centre. Okay, so that's you with a neutral pelvis. Put your head on a small head cushion, keep your shoulders wide, your neck long, so you're looking straight up to the ceiling above you. And we're going to do, excuse me, what I call scissors. So up into tabletop on the right leg. So you've got knee above hip and a nice flat surface on the top between your knee and your foot. And then come back down again. Alright, you can have your arms down by your sides, or you can have your hands on your pointy hip bones there to feel what's going on. Alright, good. So just really trying to place the legs exactly where you want them. Not because there's anything great about that position, but just because it's good to practice being able to put your body just where you want it to be. Alright, okay. So this is your basic tabletop scissors. Okay, this is level 1. And you'll notice that my tummy's nice and soft. Okay, I'm using a little bit of deep tummy work. Okay, so I'm gently recruiting through these deep tummy muscles by just gently drawing them in, okay? But I'm keeping that space, that curve in my lower back, alright? Just watch if you're wanting to come and squash down, you see the difference there where you're wanting to bring that up. And it might be that if you've got a little bit of tightness at the back there, okay, that you're going to really need to use your muscles to keep that up while you bring your legs up into scissors. Okay, so now we're going to take the levels up and we're going to show you what to look for and what to be careful for in terms of your tummy work. Alright, so level 2 into scissors, we go up into double tabletop. So we take the right leg up and then the left leg up. So you really need to work through your lower tummy, but you want to be keeping it down. Alright, so now we're in double tabletop, so we can just touch down. Okay. Okay. Good. Now, so I think there was lots of tension there in the top of my upper body there, but essentially what you're looking for is you don't want that tummy to be coming up. Okay, so if you're bracing up like that, okay, and your tummy's coming up towards the ceiling, alright, that is a bracing, and that's you using your outer tummy muscles, okay, and we don't want that, alright. We want you to be able, you will be recruiting your outer tummy muscles, but in conjunction with the deep ones. The deep ones are the ones that really matter, the other ones that are really going to give you a really good support, okay, so you pull them in, okay, work them, and then bring yourself up into double tabletop, okay. It's quite a challenging position, alright. So level 3, we come back up into double tabletop, and in level 3 of scissors, we, I can't remember what we do. Tell you what, let's do a hip twist from here, okay? So we can add a hip twist out to the side. Okay, great for mountain bikers because they just don't do this. Alright, so you're really working on your lateral hip muscles here, keeping your tummy, your deep tummy muscles pulled in, the space in your lower back, okay, and you're allowing your hips to drop out while the other one stays still with the knee above the hip. Okay, good. Okay, fantastic. Right, if you want to really take that up a level, you can come back into double tabletop. Okay, you can stick your right leg out straight. Okay, this is level 3. And then you can swap to left. Okay? So you're making your levers a bit longer, so it's a wee bit harder work. Harder work for your legs, harder work for your tummy. Again, you want to keep those deep tummy muscles working. Keep them in. Keep that space in your lower back. Okay, back to tabletop. And peel down one leg at a time. Alright, have a wee breather. You can hug your legs up if you want. Just to give yourself a wee rest. Alright. And if you really want to add a few more abs challenges, depending on how you're doing, if you're finding that you can't keep that tummy from bracing and coming up, if your hip flexors are screaming at you, if you're having to push your lower back into the floor, if your neck is straining, stay at the level you're at or go back a level, okay? And don't move on until you feel comfortable at a level, or go up for 2 or 4 and then come back a level, right? So now we'll do abdo prep, which is when we bring in the head. So essentially we're working these outer muscles quite hard and the deep muscles, but from the other end of your body. Alright, so breathe in to prepare, and as you breathe out, just curling your chin in, curling your neck up, and then drifting your shoulders up and reaching your toes, your fingers down towards your toes. Okay, and then backwards on the way down. So shoulders, neck, head. Okay, head, neck, shoulders, upper back, shoulders, neck, head. Alright, shoulders, neck. Just do 4 of these, and then we're going to stay in abdo prep and add in some scissors. Alright, good. Okay, my lower back was dropping down there. Okay, so I've now got that curve back in my lower back. And this time I'm staying up in abdo prep. I'm going to allow my arms to come down. Okay, but I'm going to keep my head there. And I'm going to come up into scissors. Just the level 1 scissors. Okay, my neck's starting to strain a little bit, so I'm just going to put my hand behind my head. So I can still do a little bit of work, but I'm just taking a little bit of the weight. Okay, so I'm not really lifting my hand, I'm more just supporting. Okay, good. Again, tummy nice and flat, and try and keep your pelvis from rocking side to side. So let's go into a single leg stretch, level 2. So you straighten your leg out towards the halfway up the wall, knees level, back to tabletop and down. So tabletop, straighten your leg out, tabletop and down. And you could go up through the levels with this as well if you wanted to take it back up to a level 2 scissors. Alright, and then touch down. Okay, having to work pretty hard with that tummy to avoid it coming up and bracing. Okay, so a good test is that you can talk through this. If you can talk through this, it means you're not bracing too much and that you're still able to breathe. Okay, that you can breathe in, you can breathe out, even though all these muscles are working. Okay, this is really, really important for you in your mountain biking, that you can work your core really hard and still be able to breathe, because you need to breathe really hard, and it can make it much more efficient if you can use all those muscles at the same time. Okay, fabulous, well done. So that's all the stuff on your back. Hopefully that made sense. And now we're going to do some tummy work. Sorry, on your hands and knees work. So sort of similar position to being on your bike. Okay, we talked before about a pelvic tilt, okay, and how you want to set up your position. So you want to set up your position with a little curve on your lower back. In this, let's have knees below hips. Okay, so watch if you start to creep in that way. That's just it's a sign everything's starting to grab in the way, and try and keep that openness through the hips. Wrists can be below your shoulders or slightly in front of your shoulders. Alright, okay, so the first thing I want to show you is a rhomboid push-up, alright, and we'll do this and then we'll go on to some exercises which will really cement the feeling of this part of your body. Okay, so now we're working on your shoulder girdle. Alright, so you're doing a lot of weight bearing on your hands on your bike. What you don't want is to be either collapsing down through your shoulders, because what you're doing is then leaning only on the ligaments, and you can see how this sternum part of your body is just collapsing straight down. Okay, so then you're leaning through your shoulders, you're going to end up with sore shoulders. Okay, conversely, you don't want to be having this massive curve in your upper back, because that's going to put lots of stress into your upper back. It's going to be harder to lift your head to look where you're going, and you're not recruiting the muscles between your shoulders properly. Okay, so you want somewhere in the middle, a neutral point where the muscles between your shoulder blades are activated and working. Okay, so not that, somewhere in between. So in order to get a feeling of that, we're going to do an exercise where you're doing that. Alright, so keeping your hands on the mat, elbows long but not locked, okay? Don't want to have the elbows sticking out to the side there. Some elbows go all the way back, okay? You want it long, but those muscles will be activated to keep it long rather than leaning on the ligaments and the joints to keep it in that hyperextended position. Okay, and then keeping your lower back nice and still, you're rocking through those positions, so allowing your back to drop down and come up, and you can really feel how it gets working right through your arms. Okay, you can try it with your elbows out, and you can try it with your elbows slightly in, okay, just to add a little bit of muscle interest. Okay, so this is a rhomboid push-up, and really feel how the muscles below your armpit and the muscles in between your shoulder blades are working, okay, as well as the ones in the front of your shoulder. Okay, good. Now we're going to lie down and do an exercise called swan dive. I hope you can see this one all right. So swan dive, you'll have your arms out in an L shape to the side, your head onto the mat. If you rest on your forehead and tuck your chin in, then you can breathe all right. Okay, you can put your forehead on a little cushion as well if you like, for comfort. Okay, so arms out to the side in an L shape, bent at the elbows. Find your neutral pelvis, so a little bit of pelvic tilting, and come to rest with your pointy hip bones in front, just up a little bit from the mat, okay, so that they're not like collapsed right down. They should be lifted a little bit. Okay, and in this one, we're going to aim to start by activating through those shoulder blades, just like we did in the rhomboid push-up before, and then gently push down through your arms and underneath below your armpits, just to lift your sternum from the mat a little bit, and then back to the mat. Okay, this one is not so much about strength but about coordination. Okay, you're essentially lifting the sternum up from the mat, keeping the head pointed down, looking at the mat, and letting it come back down again. Okay, so activating through the shoulder blades and then lifting through that point. Really feel like you're lifting through the shoulder blades to lift the sternum off the mat. You're not lifting through the lower back. The lower back should be soft throughout, okay, supported by the tummy, supported by the lower back muscles, yes, but you're not hinging up through there, okay? And you can gently push down through your arm, your elbow, but try and share the load and try for it not to be too hard that you're pushing down. You're trying mainly to lift through that upper spine. Okay? So that's swan dive, and that will come in handy later on. Okay, so from here, crawl your forearms in. Okay, so you're now in what I call the half sphinx position. I'm going to creep down a little bit so you can see me better. Okay, so half sphinx position, elbows, wrists and hands are in line. Okay, now with this one you can experiment a little bit with your back position. So let's feel what it's like just to let your lower back completely collapse down, flare a bit through the ribs, so that helps you look up a bit. Okay, but now I want you activating through the tummy, lifting through those pointed hip bones at the front, lifting the ribs up from the mat, but down towards the pelvis. Okay, so that's much more an activated position. Okay, you can feel that that takes muscle work. And then release back down just to get the feeling. Okay, and all the time try and activate like we did in swan dive and in rhomboid. Activate through that shoulder girdle, so you're not hanging in the shoulders, you're not rounding through the back. Okay, you're really activating through the shoulder girdle. Brilliant. Okay. Right, so now I'm going to come up again into 4-point kneeling, and we're going to do an exercise called swimming. So set your position up, get your shoulders right. With swimming we start by level 1, reaching the leg out behind you. Okay, try as well as you can to keep your weight the same all the way through. So even though your legs are changing, the weight is similar on your arms and the shape of your body is the same. Okay, so try not to let your back collapse and your ribs flare as your legs go out. Okay, so we're not looking for that sort of movement. You want to keep that activation through your core as the legs are moving. Okay, so you're really using your glute muscles to do this while supporting through your upper arms. Okay, so that's swimming 1. Swimming 2 is the same but from your arms. So you're reaching your arm up and down, and the other arm up and down. Okay, so we'll just do 4 of these, but you can do more if you like. Just pause it. And then swimming 3 is opposite arm and leg. Okay, and again you can sing through this one to see how your breathing is. Tell yourself a poem, tell yourself a great joke, and see how your breathing is, see how your breath comes. You can hear mine's a little bit laboured. Okay, so this is swimming 1, 2, 3. Good. Alright. So now let's add the peachy one. So here are your handlebars. Alright. So you could rest your hand on, you could put your hands nice and wide to get a good grip on them. And then you have a lovely wibbly surface. I suppose it's different from being in a mountain bike because your hand would go independently of another, but if you can do it like this, you can do it in there. Alright? Now I'm going to cheat and I'm going to put my hands over on the mat slightly because I can't do it because I'm not a crazy mountain biker and training to go down steep hills at 30 miles an hour for an hour. But you're not allowed to cheat, right? You have to try and put your hands on and really balance and see how it is. No, seriously, if you want to, you can, but you might want to work your way up to it. You also could deflate the balls a little bit to make it easier or inflate them to make it harder. Okay, so you could do swimming like this too. Alright, so activating through the shoulder girdle. Now I can't breathe. Now I'm bracing. That's really hard work. And I'm going side to side. I'm all over the place because I don't have that stability. Okay. It'll be interesting to see how you get on with this one, Liz. Because it's really hard. But that's what you do all the time, so hey, you should be able to do it. Okay, good. Now we're going to move on to another one. We could just put those balls aside because we'll need them again. What's called pro knee lift, right? So we can go back into our 4-point kneeling, breathe in to prepare, and breathe out and just hover your knees just up off the mat, just 10 centimetres or something. Okay, really paying attention to the position of your body between your shoulders and your hips. Okay, the idea is that it doesn't move. Alright, you're just hovering up through those knees, taking the weight through your arms. Okay, so let's do 4 of these and then we'll up the ante a little bit. Okay, that's number 4. Alright, now we're going to add some marches. Alright. Okay, so good. Come down. Okay, if you want, you could add a swimming in there. I know you'll do all these hard ones just to see if you can. Good. And back down. Okay. You can sit back in your heels for a bit of a stretch. Okay, and then taking this up another level, tucking your heels under. I might head out of the camera view with this one. With this one, breathe in to prepare. Hover. In fact, start with my hands a little bit further in front. Breathe in to prepare. Over the knees and then straighten out. Over the knees and back. So you're actually taking yourself into a plank. Okay. I have a sore wrist, so I'm not going over onto it properly. Okay. Now you can do that with balls under your hands. Dead easy. No way, Jose. Okay, but you can do that if you like. Okay, let's stretch this out. So from there, nice curve in your lower back, send your bottom up towards the ceiling and your bottom also back towards your toes, and you can rest your head down that way. Okay, quite a nice little stretch. Nice little rest. Keep your arms nice and long and enjoy the stretch. Okay. We're nearly there. I'm out of breath. Okay, now I want you to come into a side sitting position. So the mermaid sit again. I'm going to do a lovely stretch for the side of your body and for your inner thigh. Okay, this is where the block might come in handy. If it's comfortable, if you're finding it really hard to get your hips into this position, and it helps to sit on the block, because ideally we want to be keeping that curve in your lower back all the time rather than being in that position. Okay, and if you're sitting up on a block, that might just help that. Okay, so starting in this position, allow this leg to go long. Okay, keep your foot bent through the ankle. Alright, because if you don't, you'll tend to come in with the knee. Okay, and I don't want you to do that. I want you to keep your hips open, your knee up off the mat. Alright, and then you can crawl that foot away and you get a nice inner thigh stretch that way. Okay, now we're going to add a shell stretch to this, so you can bring that arm up and over, creep it above you, and creep your fingers away down, and see if you can get your head on the ground. This outer arm, just creep it as far as you can away from you, get a lovely stretch, and then you can move that leg to wherever you want. You can put it behind you if you want more of a stretch that way. Okay. Okay, so you should really feel this in these ribs, perhaps the front of your tummy, perhaps your inner thigh, your outer thigh, and breathing, really breathing into the ribs to open them up and let them go. Okay, and just on every out breath, letting go a little bit more. Okay, you can crawl back up from that one, and let's do the other side. Okay, so mermaid sitting, leg long, bent through the ankle, open through the hips, through the shoulders, and you can creep that foot away from you a little bit, gets a nice stretch on the inner thigh. Love stretching hips, so good for you. Okay, and then we're going to bring arm up and over and try and crawl that arm away. Head onto the floor, and you'll probably find as you've been there for a couple of breaths, 4 breaths, that you can crawl the arms a little bit more and really rest onto the floor that way. Good. Wonderful. So that's us done. Class 1. I have planned a bit of class 2, but I thought half an hour would be enough for a starter. See how you get on, enjoy, and I hope you're as out of breath as I am. I'm off to sleep now.